Hello, everybody. We're Sonic ID, and my name's Dan Kirby, and this is, who are you?
Martyn.
Martyn Ware. We're from Sonic ID, and we set Sonic ID up, and we're an audio branding and identity company. And we did that because we believe that image works better with sound. And we've got, because it's after lunch and Friday afternoon, we've got a little Sonic ID pop quiz for everybody to pep you all up. Here we go. And really what the point of that is to show there's lots of different ways you can use sound and you associate it in your own mind with lots of different things. And we tend to, in the kind of branding world and visual media, think about image a lot, and sound often is the poor relation, like a postage stamp on at the end of a project it gets stuck on. The whole reason for being for us is to flip that around and start thinking about sound in a way that's at the start of a process rather than at the end. And what Sonic ID does is create identities, music, and experiences in sound to transform brands. And you can see there some of the people we work with from First Direct, the bank, BP, Cisco over in the States, and Sun Microsystems. What's different about us, there's a number of people now who are starting to do this. We've been doing this since 2004, Martyn and myself, but we are the only transatlantic Sonic Identity Specialist agency. We've got an office based in Portland, Oregon, headed up by our business partner, Noel Franis, who used to work for Sun Microsystems and Java and was headed up their first ever Sonic Identity project as the client. So he came on board after leaving the world's biggest audio specialist to come work with Sonic ID, and now we have our US base. We do a lot of work over in the States. This isn't a sales pitch, just to give you an overview of what we do. We do three key things. Planning and strategy, where we define what people's brands should sound like, where it should live and why. We do creative and identity development, where we create brand-based sound that works across all the different brand channels, such as advertising, retail, web, software, mobiles and events. And a lot of work on events and experiences, and Martyn will show you some of the work we've done in that area using three-dimensional sound and music that's brand-based. But that's a bit of an introduction to us, but really the purpose of what we wanted to do today was to kind of show you how some of the work that Martyn's been doing with his company Illustrious in sound art and public installation has really driven some of the new innovations that we're putting into the commercial space. So how the kind of art helps drive commerce and some of the ways we've been using that. And really art and commerce is kind of in our DNA. The whole concept of Sonic ID came out of really our relationship between my other company, a company called DKPM, which is a visual branding agency, and Martyn's company, Illustrious. And DKPM was working on a number of different projects, visual identity projects, and we wanted to bring sound into that. I intuitively felt that sound should be a part of an identity solution for our clients. So we started working with Martyn and Illustrious to help create that, and Sonic ID was born out of that. So really, these two aspects are really what's been driving our business.
And also, Dan is a DJ and understands music. I'm a musician, obviously. But that's a critical point, because all the way down the relationship, we have to understand each other's worlds. And I'm not an expert in branding, but now I'm getting to know quite a lot about it.
Yeah, and really, from my background, I'm used to be a DJ, understand sound and music, and so from an intuitive point of view, I kind of got sound should be important. So that's really where the whole thing came from. Martyn's going to just take you through a little bit about Illustrious and what they've done, and just some of the projects that have been informing our work.
Yeah, Illustrious, we formed in... which button do I press to use?
That one.
Okay. I formed Illustrious with Vince Clark from Erasure in 2001 to exploit this three-dimensional surround sound system that we developed for the doomed National Centre for Popular Music in Sheffield. And it basically closed down after a year, the building, and we had researched and developed this new technology, and we thought, well, we may as well find other uses for this. So we ended up doing lots of installation work, really. We started off in the artistic field, creating three-dimensional surround sound fields for accompaniment to visual art. But now what we do is we create three-dimensional living sound environments, we call them living. They appear to be more real, shall we say, which assist our clients to articulate their ideas to their audience in an emotionally engaging, and emotionally is the key word, emotionally engaging and memorable way. We can manipulate sounds in space. In fact, what we've done in the sound field downstairs is manipulating sounds in a three-dimensional format. And this is a screen grab of the software that we use. The grid that you see there kind of symbolizes halfway up any given space that we choose to install 2 rings of speakers in. If it was in a room like this, we'd have some speakers up in the ceiling, maybe 4 of them, and 4 at ground level, to create a kind of cube within which we can move up to 16 sounds simultaneously at 25 frames a second. So it creates a kind of ghostly activity of sound. Sounds seem to be appearing from nowhere. And it's quite an uncanny process. And we can actually pre-convolve these fields or pre-render these fields for things like galleries, so we can loop round various experiences they can hear stuff, or even retail shops, etc. And we like to think, in fact we don't like to think, we are world leaders in this because this software has only just come onto the market and we helped co-develop it over the last few years. Each of these balls on this diagram symbolizes a particular sound in space. So that, as I say, the grid is kind of halfway up the space. So for instance, that blue ball at the top right there would be appearing to come out of mid-air up there if we had the speakers installed. The green one would be over there, etc. And we can move them around. That's a static shot, obviously.